Ukrainian Prez says successfully fighting off enemy attacks, 3 children among 198 Ukrainians killed in 2 days. Ukrainian soldiers repulsed a Russian attack in the capital, the military said early Saturday, only hours after President Volodymyr Zelensky warned that Moscow would attempt to take Kiev before dawn in the conflict that is now escalating every hour. Russian leader Vladimir Putin unleashed a full-scale invasion on Thursday that has killed dozens of people, forced more than 50,000 to flee Ukraine in just 48 hours and sparked fears of a new Cold War in Europe. India is deeply disturbed by recent turn of developments in Ukraine, said India's permanent representative to the United Nations, urging that all efforts be made for the immediate cessation of violence and hostilities. He said no solution could ever be arrived at the cost of human lives. Speaking at the UNSC meeting on Ukraine, Tirumurti said India was also deeply concerned about the welfare and security of the Indian community, including a large number of Indian students in Ukraine. Contemporary global order has been built on UN Charter, international law and respect for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of states. We agreed to the Russian Federation's president's proposal. Currently, the parties are debating the location and timing of the negotiation process during these hours. The sooner negotiations begin, the better the chances of returning to normalcy, he said. Russia, as expected, vetoed a UN Security Council resolution on Friday that deplored in the strongest terms the country's aggression against Ukraine and demanded the immediate withdrawal of its troops. 11 of the Council's 15 members voted for the motion, which was co-written by the United States and Albania. China, India and the United Arab Emirates abstained. The resolution was always doomed to fail because of Moscow's veto power as a permanent members of the Council. However, the debate offered member nations an opportunity to voice condemnation of President Vladimir Putin's decision to launch a full-scale offensive against Russia's neighbor. Let me make one thing clear, U.S. Ambassador to the UN Linda Thomas-Greenfield said after the vote. Russia, you can veto this resolution, but you cannot veto our voices, you cannot veto the truth, you cannot veto our principles, you cannot veto the Ukrainian people. The wording of the draft text put before the Security Council was watered down in the hours before the vote to gain more support. The word condemns was replaced by deplores, and a reference to Chapter 7 of the UN Charter, which allows members to take military action to restore peace, was deleted. The resolution reaffirmed the sovereignty of Ukraine and called for Russia to immediately cease its use of force against Ukraine. Ultimately, more than 70 countries co-sponsored the resolution. Make no mistake, Russia is isolated. It has no support for the invasion of Ukraine, said Britain's ambassador to the UN, Barbara Woodward. Before the vote, Thomas Greenfield described Russia's attack as so bold, so brazen, that it threatens our international system as we know it. We have a solemn obligation to not look away. At the very minimum, we have an obligation to object, she said. Vote yes if you believe Russia should be held to account for its actions. Vote no or abstain if you do not uphold the Charter and align yourselves with the aggressive and unprovoked actions of Russia. Moscow's UN envoy, Vasily Nebenzia, denounced the resolution as anti-Russian and anti-Ukrainian. Anti-Russian and anti-Ukrainian, he said.